hit that music. We'll hit it. We are alive. Good morning. Good morning. We are alive. Alive.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Folks,
we're here.
Look who's here with us.
It is Yoda.
It is, folks. If you all don't know who this is, then you guys are about to find out. We're going to take this quick little video for you guys, and once we get back, we're going to sit here with Matt DAMOS.
The one, the only unstoppable force for good.
That's right. And we are excited to have him here. Not only has he been one of our greatest mentors in our business, in our lives, but he's also one of our best friends in the whole world. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Get ready for some great knowledge. He's putting his head on his shoulders. We're going to have some fun this morning, folks. I'm so excited to have Matt in the cafe. This is his second time, and it's finally got his signature up here. So I'm excited about having that. That's probably the most exciting. That's the only reason I even invited him. You can go ahead and go, Matt. Appreciate you for signing.
And we're good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Enjoy the intro, outro.
That's right. Focus. Fly. Keep rolling.
Guys and car gals, welcome to the cafe. Hopefully you got all caffeinated and confident to take on your day by seeing what it is that we do to make sure that we keep growing. This is Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
This is Fredlin Arts, the subprime hero.
And we are here once again with the unstoppable force for good, Mr. Matt DAMOS himself.
That's right.
Hello.
Not Damon, DAMOS. He's been called
I'm better looking.
Yeah, much better, right? So this morning, folks, if you're watching this right now, please share this right now. This is really good stuff. We're getting ready to drop some great knowledge. We're getting ready to have some fun this morning. So let's get some people in here. Let's get them invited. Let's get some comments going. We've already got a couple, and I do appreciate you all for jumping on. Welcome. Throwing some words out there. Justin, what's up, brother? Think Ag Group. You know what's up. Appreciate you. Good morning to you. Charles Higgins. Oh, what's up, Charles? Good morning. Brian, Norris, Coffee and Cars. My favorite.
Welcome.
Exactly. You are right. You know what's going on. So you should subscribe, like, and share and comment, my friend. So we appreciate you for being here. Share this, folks. Share it out. So, wow. We just finished September. Now, in the car business, September is one of those months where you don't know what's going to happen in September. Well, I'll tell you, September was great. Personally, one of the most fun months I've had in a long time with everybody from family stuff to everything else. The weather's starting to change. It's cooling down. It feels good to be outside. It feels good to enjoy your off work time too. So hope you guys are all going through the same thing that we're going through and having great wins in life, or you're just focused on the wins. You're not focused on the losses. Because a lot of people, what's going to happen in this time of year, the sun's going to set early. All these things are going to be happening, and they get into this little depression mode. Well, I recommend that you guys look and focus on what's great about weather changing, about the sun dropping a little bit earlier, all that type of stuff, because there's a way to get your mind right on that. There's a way to get you thinking positively instead of negatively. A lot of people start gaining weight this time of year. They start doing all these things. Well, folks, find ways to stay motivated and driven. And we're going to help you with that. Just make sure you tune into our shows every morning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's get this thing going. Evelyn, good morning, my lady.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sanjay, what's up, brother? Good morning. Good morning.
Things first, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get this in here so we can get Matt in there. He was our very first guest on the show, and he's not inside of the Forgive Focus Fly Reel that we have been introducing ever since. So I'm excited to just get this little clip of footage, and you're going to get to see it inside of the intro in the future. Eventually, this is probably going to be about a 20-minute intro.
Eventually, it will be. It's going to have to, yeah.
So, find your place in it, okay? Jump on the show, do some Forgive Focus and flying with us, and let's just keep growing the size of this intro. Cool? All right, car guys and car gals, let's do it. Hit your chest one time. Here we go. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep growing.
Keep growing. All right. Yeah. Now we're awake a little bit. I think everybody out there is starting to get a little bit of that caffeine inside of them, right?
You know why we're so awake? Because if you go to carguycoffee.com,
that's right.
Go ahead and click to the top where it says coffee shop. You can get some coffee. And we're sipping on some solutions today, folks. But Car Guy Coffee, the incredibly smooth tasting, highly caffeinated coffee is available for you to pre-order right now. So get you some of that. But we are really seriously sipping solutions. Get you some. Get you some.
Folks, the guy who got us sipping solutions first is this guy right here, Matt DAMOS. When we first got in this business, both Lou and I, he was our manager. He was the one who sat us down and showed us the road to the sale. He was the one who taught us the psychology of a client. He taught us how and showed us that this world and this business, so much potential in it. It's unlimited how much money you can make. The money isn't the big thing, though. It's the way it makes you feel, the accomplishment that you get from being successful at this business. It helps you become more than just what you thought you were. It's kind of like you realize how many people you touch throughout the years. Through the years that we've been selling cars, Matt's been over 2 decades. Lou and I were reaching the 2-decade thing. And with those years of experience and what we were taught by Matt, which is basically what we talk about, it's that foundation, that really good foundation that was built with us, where we knew our house was going to be built on something that was amazing because everything was laid out for us exactly the right way, how to do this. And now we've been able to build our homes over the last almost 20 years, and our homes on top of that foundation that Matt helped us build, that those homes are never going to go anywhere. That foundation is never going to crack. It's always going to be there because it's perfect. Now, we may adjust the house. We may do remodeling to it, but that foundation is always there. And that's why we're able to remodel on that and never have to worry about spending extra money to fix that foundation or spending extra time because it's there already. It's been laid out. And I give a lot of that credit to Matt DAMOS. And I think that, maybe we talk about Matt a lot on our show, and that's why I'm so excited to have him back. And I think most of you guys, if you've been watching us, you've heard Matt's name. And this is him, and this is the guy. And it's multitude of reasons. Matt is not just a great car guy, but he's actually a really, really, really good friend. Like, you meet a lot of car people in this world that will teach you stuff, and they're great, but they don't have any personal, they don't care about what your life is like at home. They just want you to sell them cars, and then whatever you do at home, they don't give a flying F, right? But what Matt does, though, is Matt cares about it all. Matt understands the psychology of not just teaching you how to be a good car guy, but also encouraging you to grow at home with your family, with yourself, with your personal development, with your physicality, with everything. Matt does that to this day. He's one of the best ever. So y'all need to reach out to him. Matt's going to be coming on social media more, folks. You're going to be seeing him doing some stuff. He has some future plans coming up. Maybe we'll spill a little bit of beans about that, maybe. But we're going to get Matt more involved in the Car Guy Cafe, folks. We're going to have probably a whole segment just for him. And I don't know if Matt knows that yet, but we're gonna do that, and I think Matt would graciously take that and use it. But I want to put a segment out here for him. I want to make sure that we have something for Matt because we need to include Matt in this cafe because Matt is a big reason why this cafe is even around. We didn't have Matt. Me and Lou may never have got to the level we got to this business. We never may have found the passion that we see in this business So I know we're lifting you up right now, Matt, but
I'm just soaking it in.
Yeah. So
these are all true words.
Just keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah, it's all true words.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything he said.
Right.
Yeah. But seriously, what Matt has taught us how to do, and why we refer to him as Yoda, we refer to him as a Jedi, as a master Jedi, is that when it comes to making money, he's taught us how to solve problems. He's taught us to have a giving heart and to be not so much riskful with your money, but to be trusting that you are capable of making more of it. So give it where it's needed, put it where it's needed, and apply it strategically and also with intention. And he is an incredibly giving person, but it's not just on the side of what he does with his money and what he does with his knowledge and what he does working a car deal. It's what kind of exudes and spills from him as an individual to many, many other people. And there's people all throughout the country that can probably attribute different things to Matt and what it is that he's done to just upshift and uplift their game. And it's a great honor. Again, it's a really, really great honor. I know we're sitting here in close quarters, kind of gassing you up and stuff, but brother, we love you.
These are all facts, by the way. These are.
We're so thankful that we have him
behind all this
in our life because he has been so instrumental in giving us the direction that was needed when it was needed. And he still does it to this day. He still bounces off some ideas. I believe he's one of our biggest fans. I think he might even have the top fan rating on our Facebook.
I hope so.
On there, I hope so.
But nothing but
I have not missed an episode, so I'm definitely a fan.
I appreciate that. And Matt's, Matt and I, we have a great relationship. We've had one for a long time. It went from being like, I looked at Matt and then as a somebody, and I still do. I look at him as this guy that's here. And then when I was able to sit down and become friends with him and talk and learn and dig into his brain even deeper, we realized, well, shit, man. We're really close. We're almost identical in a lot of ways.
Best friends.
We did. We're the two best friends, right? So my wolf pack became a wolf pack of two. No. Yeah, and we got guys. Brian, he says, sounds like you have a great mentor, Matt. Leadership is key, yet lacking in our business. Facts.
True.
That's why I love to give the praise where praise is due. Because there is not enough of that. So when there's somebody out there that's doing that, you need to point it out. You need to let them know because they may not even realize they're one of the few that do that. Because when you're in your own bubble, which I talk about, the stuff you have your own control over, that's what you pay attention to. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually great. But you have to realize that there's other people outside that bubble that are doing some amazing things. But not all of them too. So give praise where praise is due, folks, to include people that are like your salespeople. If you're a manager and you give praise where praise is due, when someone does something good, give them that high five, let them know, slap them on the butt, like, what's up, buddy? You did a good job. Don't do that if it's a female though. Now that being said,
can't do it if it's anybody. So it'll red light.
Joe Turner. Hey, what's up, Joe? Good morning, my friend. Joe's all the way out in Paris, folks. He's got his own coffee.
Paris.
Recovery coffee. We actually had that on here and we drank some of that. That was pretty good, man. Once again. And then we got Mr. John Pellegrino. What's up, John?
We need to have a talk with some John.
We do, man.
We definitely do. Make moves.
Yeah, we need to talk to you. We may need to talk to you about our taxes soon. So that being said, we're gonna have to do that. But let's get this thing going. This morning we have Matt DAMOS here with us. We have some guests watching right now. I appreciate you all for jumping on. Like I said, sounds like Matt has mentored a lot of car guys and car gals. When we come, we want to see Matt too. Yes, Justin. You're definitely going to be Matt, my friends.
You definitely will. So speaking of solutionaries that want to meet other solutionaries, let me remind everybody who Justin Searle is. He represents our very first sponsor. So let me be the one to echo that this brew has been brought to you by Think Ag Group.
That's right.
And you can get more information by going to
www.thinkaggroup.com. Go on there, check them out. They have their swag. They have their Thursday night think tank. Y'all need to check that out. There's a quick link on there when you go to swag. Click on that. And matter of fact, if you go to the think tank, they're going to send you some of that swag for free. Just show up. They just want to get it out there. They're real excited about the think tank, folks. It has a lot of great information. It's basically a mastermind every Thursday night. You get there, they're going to bring a special guest. You can ask questions, and then you can talk about anything you want to talk about. It's a great place. It's a lot of fun on a Thursday night. Bring your drinks. If you drink beer, bring beer. If you like coffee, which I recommend, bring some coffee with you. but it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check them out. We also like to throw out a quick shout out to our newest sponsor, Elite FI. Now, Elite FI Partners, it's Michael Offmuth. Man, he is an amazing young man. He is coming around. He's growing really fast right now. He's really reaching out, doing social media. So check them out. They're growing everywhere. He has tons of clients. So I promise you, if you need a reference, he's got plenty, to include me and Lou. We refer him. He's an amazing person. His company is doing some amazing stuff for people in their finance offices, helping them grow and showing them new processes and new products to help their bottom line get a little bit bigger. So make sure you check them out.
And again, all good people. They don't just have really nice logos. They are really great people
that love helping people.
Yes.
Helping, not taking advantage of, not just saying they're going to do something and not following up. These people will deliver everything they promise and beyond. So make sure you check them out. And they're just super awesome people. They're my friends. I love these guys. So make sure you check them out. Let's see. We got just says Elite FNI, Elite FI, Elite FI. Yes. Yes, sir, Justin. And look at the love between you. You see that we have two different sponsors and they love each other. It's an amazing thing. So it's a family.
It is where we are.
It's a circle. It's a circle. That's the word. I was like, it's a circle. Yes. So, Matt, how are you this morning?
I'm fantastic. You know, every day is an absolute gift to me. And
it is.
You know, I certainly appreciate, all of the praises. You know, I measure my success based off of the successes of the people around me. It's, kind of always been my philosophy of leadership. And, to see you guys doing what you're doing is absolutely amazing to me. So I'm definitely a fan of your message and what it is that you're doing. I think that the car business is in desperate need of people like you guys. So
cool. Man, appreciate it.
Well, you're exactly right. The car business does need people like us. And I'm not just saying me and Lou, and I'm not trying to be, it's true, but it's true. What he means by that, folks, is the people out there in the car business need to be more forward thinking, positive thinking. Attitude determines your altitude thinking type stuff. You need to be that way. You need to understand that there was a time in this business where the average car guy was a kind of like I don't give hey, you do this right now. That's the way it goes. I close deals. I'm
a jerk.
They were kind of, they were that way, and
I was that way.
We all were.
I'm sure you guys remember.
We all got to a point.
But it's what kind of helped us get sharper. I mean, that type of friction at that time was key. And he still applies that friction to salespeople today in different ways. And of course, you've grown. You've read a book or two in that time.
A couple.
And learned a thing or two in that time. And so it's helped to adjust how it is that you've individually raised up people. The great thing about the leadership that exudes from Matt is that it always has been from the posture of wanting to see great come out of what he pours into.
Yep.
And he genuinely does that at heart, not for the sake of, hey, you're going to make me money. Hey, you're going to help me look good to the owners and the bosses. No, it was, I believe there's greatness in you and my great reward will be to bring it out. And that has been something that I've honored. And that's why you listen to somebody like that, right? That's why you submit to somebody like that, that truly wants the best for you, like a big brother, like a father, because there's no greater joy for a father than to see their sons succeed, right? To see their sons make it to the next level, to see their sons living their dream. And that's what we get to have inside of a good leadership relationship, but that's something that we honor. But you've actually been able to adapt that, right? In different forms, in different places, all throughout the nation. You've been able to adapt that style because you're not always running into a place where everybody's thinking your way, right? Just like customers aren't always sitting down in front of you thinking that the way you're going to solve their problem is the way that it should be done. In most case scenarios, we've said before, they're WebMDing themselves for what it is that they think needs to be done. Right.
Exactly.
So leadership is a key piece that you apply not just when you have people that you're leading and actually responsible for, in whether it's your unit or your floor, but in the actual sales process itself, having that mindset to lead them. If you're a salesperson, you're a leader. You're leading a person to a certain destination, and they're going there based off of your beliefs, right? Customer in most cases isn't going to buy the vehicle if you didn't convince them that you're convinced it's the right thing for them. Right. I was convinced that Matt wanted what was great for me, so I would listen to him, which is what helped him lead me to where I wanted to go. Right. Same thing with the customer. So let's talk about leadership inside of that sales process. Why your mindset, why your heart has to be postured so right when you're sitting in front of a customer and sitting in front of somebody that you're leading.
So I think that the key component to any of that is where your focus is. I'm focused every day on when I first got in, I'm focused on the money, and I'm focused on what can I get from this business and the effort that I'm going to put. If I put this much in, what am I going to get in return?
Right.
And what I realized is that I never felt that I was really gaining any traction by focusing on what I'm going to get. So instead, it's a lot easier to manage by focusing on what I'm going to give to every single day, every person that I encounter, whether it be, a customer, an employee, somebody that I'm mentoring, my spouse, my children. I focus more on, how much can I give? What kind of impact can I have? And in doing that, then I'm only responsible for managing my own state and my own activities, and that it becomes very easy.
So managing your own state, something that is important for any professional, anybody that wants to accomplish peace throughout their life, right? You do have to establish routines,
right?
And sometimes those routines get mixed up, or your day gets changed up inside of how it goes. But the importance of setting your routine for a mindset preparation, right? Do a checkup from the neck up before you take it up, right? That has to happen. Why is that something that stuck out to you so much, and where did that come from?
So there's three patterns of focus that we all look at, and one of those is do I focus primarily on what I can control or what's outside of my control? Another pattern of focus is, do I focus more on the past, present, or future? And if you find yourself kind of, focusing on things that are outside of your control, or focusing primarily on your past, then you tend to fall into kind of the trap that your past equals your future, which means that only what you've done so far or experienced so far can equal how great you can become. And if we all do that, I mean, if you go back and you look at, I know a little bit about your humble beginnings. Fred, I certainly know about, what you've gone through personally, and been able to, turn all of that into fuel to be able to give to other people. It really becomes, if you can start to channel your focus to what it is, the present, what's going on right now. You're in control of that. One way to be able to do that is every day, I ask myself great questions. Now I do this and don't think it's weird, but every once in a while, I'll look in the mirror and I'll ask myself, important questions, because we're going to do that anyways. We're going to ask ourselves questions all the time. What am I focused on? What does it mean? What am I going to do about it? Right now, that both of you are doing that.
Right.
Everyone that's on here is doing that subconsciously. So if you're conscious that, if you're aware that you're doing that, then you can kind of control, what the meaning is. You may not be able to control externally what's going on, but you can control what it means to you and what you're going to do about it. And when you take that approach to life, with anything in your life, then you actually are in control of your outcomes.
Man. So sowing the seeds grows something, right? Depending on what seeds you intentionally sow is going to grow certain things. And you're hearing just a master. I mean, when we say a Jedi master, I mean a master at being able to take a look at whether it's a car deal or an individual and kind of break it down and figure out how to rebuild it the way that it's supposed to, or most intended to operate. I mean, it's incredible to just listen to the mind. That's why, I mean, I could sit with the DAMOS brothers, both of them, and just listen to philosophy, listen to thought. And that's kind of where we're going to be going, because this philosophy that filters so much of what it is that we do in life. And That's what's going to be coming in the future, folks. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more, getting things pumped up a little bit more about what it is that Matt is trying to brew up for people in general, because it's not just us that it needs to be poured into, and the many that he's already affected. Many of you out there need to hear some of the mindset medicine that he's able to prescribe to you in order to help give you that shift you need to just see things a little rightly. Sometimes you just have to change your vantage point, right? Adjust the camera a little bit for the things to be seen that need to be seen. And Matt helps you do that, but he does it in such a calm way. It doesn't matter what a customer's doing. He doesn't move. He stays steady. And eventually the customer, the Jedi comes out and it's like, I'm so mad right now that, okay, all right. Man, I'm going to bring you lunch tomorrow. And Matt's like, yeah, I thought you would. I'll tell you what I like.
That's basically that's how it usually goes down. It's so true. The one I remember just being a young salesperson, right? And bringing a deal to Matt, and you thought you knew what was going on. You remember how that is. We all thought that way when you brought, I know my customer.
I'm a month in. I know everything.
Matt hasn't even seen the person, doesn't even know what they look like, hasn't heard a word come out their mouth. He pulls the credit, he looks at you, he hears what you say, and he'll say, I understand, but you need to go out here and do this. And you're like, they're not going to do it. Yes, they are. You just need to go out here, say this, say that, show them this vehicle, come back and get a pencil. Just make sure you say this exactly like this.
Can you say that again?
Without wavering, without any of the, and man, I tell you, when Matt loads your lips and you go out and you say it the way he says it, you may think it's like, no, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, you have to control your face when they do it.
I remember this. What? I remember going, there's no way this is going to work. I go out there and just try it. And, I think that's the difference between maybe Lou and I, and maybe other people who weren't quite so successful, is that we were actually the ones who would go out and say what Matt said to say.
He said it.
And we go in there and you would be like, the customers would just, I don't want to say buckle or fold, because it's not necessarily what it was.
Give the response,
but they would understand this, because Matt knew the psychology, understood where they were really going, why they thought that way, why they came up with what Matt wouldn't call, they're not objections. He would call them excuses, or, there's no reason. They're not really real objections. That's what he says. Like, no, it's a real objection. It's not a real objection, Fred. That's an excuse right now. You need to go out here and discover some. That's all it was. It was just discover more, ask more questions. And he would teach you how to do that without you realizing you were being taught that. It was like, and you go out and you do it, and then you find that out as you were doing it. But man, that's the way of Matt DAMOS to this day. It's unbelievable the way he can look at a credit profile, the way he can look at a credit app, look at you and the way you're acting. And you could be telling him the complete opposite of what's getting ready to go down. But he knows that it's not the case here. He knows it. He knows when it's. What about his BS detector? I don't mean Matt has the best BS detector in the freaking world. It's like anytime you even a littlest white lie, you're like, he knows. I can see it in his eyes. He knows I'm lying to him right now. And that's the way it is. And that's what Matt is. Once again, this is Yoda, guys. And when I say Yoda, I'm not just saying that. You guys have to understand how strong this guy is next to me. You guys don't understand how much this guy how much knowledge this guy has, not just in the car business, but in a lot of ways. He's been really focused in the last few years on being more of a life coach in a sense, which is what he's been doing his whole career anyway. He's been a life coach the whole time. But he's learned more psychology on that. So when you have a basic foundation like Matt has, we talked about foundation earlier, that's built so right, and Matt had that already. Not to mention just natural talent with it, right? And then now he started studying on it. Then he got certified on this stuff. Then he started really working. And now he's connecting and meeting with people and going to these beautiful events that people are just teaching you how to use the power of the mind, how to use the power of self, how to use the power of positivity, right? Matt has it. He is truly a Jedi master throughout the universe now. So
in the path of a master, though, because we can hit that all day. And we did. The very first guest again on the show, you can go to carguycoffee.com, go all the way back,
Beto,
listen to Matt. What up, Beto? And you can listen to him too. You might run into Beto's episode in between the two. But Matt, can you give him a quick rundown into your path into the business and then to here?
Absolutely.
Without us doing a whole 5-letter?
Yes. So I was, lack of options at the time, joined the Army.
Right.
one of the best decisions. It turned out to be what I thought was a self-imposed punishment. Actually turned out to be one of the greatest learning experiences that I could have went through. I experienced great leadership. I also experienced very poor leadership, and it inspired me to say, if I'm ever in a position to where, where I can influence other people, here's some things I'm definitely going to do. Here's some things I'm definitely not going to do. And then so after the military, went into car sales, and it's kind of a funny story how that got started. I was asked to go by one of my friends that was still in the Army to go with him to negotiate a car deal, because he was deathly afraid of, saying no, and, all the typical customer behavior. And so I said, sure, man, I'll go with you.
He came in as a car lawyer. That's how it started.
That's
why he always knows what the car lawyer is going to say.
Car lawyer. So, and 3 hours later, I'm offered a job selling cars, and, there's no way I'm going to be a car salesman. That's beneath me, and my value is much greater than that. And so 2 weeks after that, because I had just got out of the Army, I didn't have a job, and about 3 weeks later, and my job search was failing. So I called back and I said, I talked to the general manager of the dealership, and I said, who's the one who actually came down and offered me the job. I said, I called him up, and because I had no idea the way, the hierarchy and kind of the way that the car business goes. And so I call up this general manager. He's a general manager and vice president of a pretty sizable auto group. And I said, I've considered your offer, and I've decided to take this job under these conditions. Within 6 months to the day, I need to be in a leadership position. I need to be in a management role. And now that I think about it, I remember him kind of chuckling and saying, yeah, no problem. When can you start? So anyway, so that's kind of the humble beginnings of my journey in the business. What led me to becoming, and then, so I sold cars, had a lot of success with that. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people. And actually 6 months to the day of me being in the car business, I was promoted, and I went into the pioneering world of special finance, which at the time, very few dealerships were doing. Nobody really understood, how to handle these customers with less than perfect credit or these particular situations. And and there was no one there to really teach me, any of that. So I actually learned special finance from the buyers that were at each place. I would send in an application and just say, look, I have no idea what I'm doing. What do I do? And then sometimes I would even let them work my deal and just say, like a salesman, just tell me what the payment is and I'll go talk to the customer. So, because back then the process was, if a salesman had a customer that could not go through a primary lending source, then that salesman brought me the application and the customer, and then he would leave. I would take the deal over and sell the car and do the whole thing. And, so that's kind of how it evolved. And then I eventually, I got a little bit burnout. Anybody who's done F&I for any long period of time, understands what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I decided, I need to take a little break from it. I was offered a job as a bank rep, and I said, man, that would be a pretty cushy job, So I decided to do that, and I did that for 1 year. I took a massive pay cut to do it, but I was able to have a lot of free time. This is when I lowered my golf handicap. On
the company's dime,
right? But more importantly, I can say that now. The company's bankrupt.
It's all good.
But I remember life-changing event that happened while I was a bank rep. There was at a local dealership, they were having some kind of big sale, and I'd never seen like balloon arches and the fan man and all this stuff going on.
Caution tape.
So as a bank rep, they were one of my accounts. So caution tape.
I forgot about caution tape.
Wrapped,
That's how long
the whole
it's been.
dealership is wrapped in
People
caution
getting
tape.
killed here.
Right. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go in there and see what's going on. So I go in there and I find out that they had hired a team of pros to come in and host this sale event. And there was more traffic at this dealership than I had ever seen at any dealership. I mean, there was easily, I went in on a Saturday morning, probably right at opening time, right between 9 and 10 o'clock. There was easily 100 ups on the lot. And which, if you work in a
he's not lying, folks.
LA market or,
that's normal.
Some big metro market, that may not be, but this is in a town of 15,000 people.
Right. Exactly.
And there's some high pressure buying going on. I'm watching it go down and I just, I can't believe
And I want my
happening.
prize.
So long story short, they leave. I get to know all the guys from the team, and they're all super cool guys, definitely professionals. Anyways, about a month later, they're back in town, and I go in there, and somebody's working a deal, and I'm up at the tower, and I'm talking to the guy that his position was called the team leader, and so I'm up there, and I'm talking to the team leader on their sales tower, and the closer on that team comes up and he says, man, this guy's not going to do it, this and that. I'm getting ready to let him go. So I look at it and I'm like, were you going to send that deal to my bank? And he says, yeah. I said, you mind if I take a shot at this customer? And of course, the closer, a closer mentality. Well, if I can't get it, there's no way you're going to get it. And I said,
good luck.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, you know what, you're probably right. But
let me try.
I stand to make money here. So, just let me take a chance if you're going to let him go anyways. So long story short, I go in, I find out what the problem is. It's super easy close. I come back, full pencil, it goes to my bank. And, then that guy offered me a job.
Of course he did.
And once he did that, that was a game changer for me. It led to me starting my own business, my own staff event company, which obviously you guys eventually became a part of, an integral part of. Actually, Fred, there's no way that company would have ever made it had you not come along. So
I appreciate that.
It was a,
but it was team. Man.
Yeah.
You took care of me. So I took care of you. It was like, that was one of those things,
Yeah. So for 12 years, I did that. Had a lot of success with it. I made incredible contacts all over the country, different dealerships that I'm great friends. I still have relationships with to this day. And then, so what actually led me to the coaching part, and I'll stop.
Last time he barely spoke.
Yeah.
So this is,
I'm okay.
Oh, Matt, I'm cool. I'm cool with hearing this. This is great stuff.
One of the, what I realized was that, throughout my entire career, everyone's always said that, our business, and what I've come to realize, this is pretty much every business, is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics.
Yes, sir.
But we spend 80% of our time training on mechanics and 20% on the psychology. It never made sense to me. So I said, if I want to be able to serve my, my team and the people who are looking to me to guide them at the highest level, then I need to understand, the psychology aspect of it. So I became, I was actually introduced to a guy named Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys,
I don't know.
I don't know. Has anyone heard of that guy? Tony, spell that for me.
Who essentially became, a mentor. And so I got certified under his coaching program. Started a small coaching practice that is primarily for more of elite clientele, business owners and things like that. Not that I don't want to serve everyone, but it's like everything else. There's the pie can only be cut in so many pieces.
Exactly.
So long story short, though, so it's taught me a lot. It's taught me about how to control my focus, what I'm focused on, how to produce outcomes, and more importantly, how to get, people to believe in themselves and how to help them to raise their own standards. And if you can do that, you'll create a team that is unstoppable. you know, and I've been very fortunate that I've always been surrounded by guys that you know, carry that mentality of, you know, we're an unstoppable force, and that's kind of where that nickname comes from.
And it's yes, and Matt is a very good at that type of stuff. Look, we got one of our current. He was last month's salesman of the month. We got Adrian Gibbs on here, Mr. Barry Bars.
Barry G.
What's going on, Barry? Appreciate you for jumping on real quick, Adrian. Yes, Matt is the best, folks. And Matt, and now that's a guy currently on the floor right now that has benefited from Matt's knowledge, benefited from Matt's, you know, schoolage, like teaching life skills. This is a young man, Adrian. He came to us basically right out of high school. Yeah. And he's slowly but surely getting to where he needs to be. Now, you know, we all know sometimes when you get right out of school, it just takes a little, you got to find whys. You got to have a purpose in life, you know. And Adrian is slowly finding that. Adrian's getting ready to have a child. So he's starting to step up his game. He's double digits every single month. He's, you know, very proud of you, Adrian. You're doing a great job, man. Keep doing what you're doing, but always look for a little bit more. Keep growing. But, you know, so he totally understands. You know, Matt, like he's saying, he's been very fortunate to be surrounded by that, but you attract what you are. You know, it's kind of like, so Matt has been fortunate, but Matt has always been consistent in being the type of person that he is. You know, he's always been attracting people to come towards him. Let me tell you something.
Anything else.
Right. So I could tell you, I've seen Matt literally, you know, Matt says, you know, he's thankful that was part of the company, but I was so thankful to be part of Matt's company because I got to see firsthand what Matt was like when you walked in a store. So I could tell you, we would sign clients, like new clients, right? And we'd show up. I had this little, you know, maybe I didn't feel worthy at sometimes, you know what I mean? But I would watch Matt walk in to a dealership. He's never met the owner, and the command that Matt would have just by walking in a store with just his steps that he would take. Just that we all know, me and Lou has the best imitation of Matt's walk ever. But there's something about, the pin thing. Dude, we both copied that from Matt. I still use that sometimes as I'm doing things, right? But, you know, Matt has this way of walking in with this confidence. You know, Matt's had confidence, like he mentions, since before he even got into business. When he was offered the job, he was like, it's beneath me. That's that confidence. It wasn't that he just didn't know. You know, he didn't realize what the car business had to offer. You know, you look at what you see and then you're like, I don't want to be that. But then when you realize what you can be by being in this business, you're like, okay, I do want to be part of that. So Matt always had that confidence in him. Matt came into the business demanding 6 months later, I want to be a manager, right? Yeah, we got you. Come on in.
But it happened. You know, now that I look at it, I'm like, that actually happened.
The way but that's everything. I think we all, you know, to include most people, to include Adrian, is that when you say something and you actually believe it, it becomes it. Period. That's just the way it works, man. It's amazing how that works. How if you have to believe it though. You have to want it. You have to put the work in. You can't just it doesn't just, well, sometimes things land in your lap. It does. But while you're working, while you're doing these other things, you may not be working towards this goal, but all of a sudden this hits you because you're working so hard, it attracts to you.
Right. The things land in your lap as a result of that mindset. Exactly.
And, you know, Matt has always done that. No, like I said, Matt's talking about he's built relationships all over the country with all these dealers. Matt, and if you guys have noticed, Matt has very little on social media. Now he's going to be more, and I'm going to help him get more. I want him to be.
I'm trying to make technology, my friend. That's definitely a goal.
He's been working on it, guys, and he's been doing more. And you're going to start seeing Matt out there a lot more. Obviously, we want to put segments in our cafe with Matt, include him in our stuff, because there's nothing better than having family part of your family. Right. You know, when you're doing something like this. And I think that one thing that's going to happen by adding Matt into our flavor, into our blend, is that it's just going to get better. It's going to be a stronger brew for you to wake up and just get energized with, right? So we're excited about doing that. What is it going to be exactly? That's something that we're slowly working on. I think Matt has some stuff in his.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. There's no doubt it's going to be great.
That's what.
Now that I'm sitting here thinking of it, it was the same store, right? The same store we started at was the same store you started at.
Yes.
You went on that mission with UAC, right? That's who it was. Mm-hmm. And then you got on the road, went all over the country, came back. So, folks, this would actually be a single origin coffee. All one single origin. Yeah. We all come from the same area, the same place where we acted. And we're from different parts of the world, right? Fred was born abroad, right? Were you also? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Um,
My mother was.
You're
Okay.
Texas, right,
And-
Matt?
No, I was actually born in Rome, Georgia.
That's
Oh,
it.
hey,
Rome,
he is
Georgia.
from Rome.
Why do I
Yes.
think Texas?
Yes.
Wow.
Paul was
Born in Texas.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
what it is.
Okay. And I'm from New York. I'm the firstborn
No.
son of an immigrant.
I thought you were
Right?
from
And
like Louisiana.
you get,
Son of an immigrant.
The Alabama is usually what people think
With
the
that
accent comes
accent?
from, right?
It's so
Right.
thick
Anyway.
with that.
But but all of these guys that came to this one place were from all over the country.
Yeah.
And the thing that we share in common in our approach to everything, and of course it linked together with you, right? So we were one part of a link connected to another part of a link, connected together to another part of a link to create this strength. And as that's come together, there was this a type of a mindset that was always, it's not so much what I want to get out of this. I know that I have something to bring to it.
Right.
I know that I have something to give. So it's like showing up to a potluck, right? You show up at your family of 6 and you have nothing in hand. You know what I mean? You don't have a bag of chips. You don't have a Coke.
Right.
You don't have whatever, but usually you bring you bring one person, you bring something to the table, right? To add to, and then you get to take away from as you do so. But the mindset that he had was of what I can bring to this. There's something I can bring to this. And this is why these are my conditions, because I have something to bring to this. That's a mindset you need to have when sitting in front of your customer, when sitting in front of somebody that you're trying to close the deal of look, I have something to bring to you. I have value to bring to you that you can't necessarily put a price on. Just having this car is the one thing, but you don't get me anywhere.
Yep.
Right.
You don't get this level of service anywhere. Let me show you why. Let me not necessarily just justify why you're spending so much, but let me make you understand that there's a great value because you're getting all of this here, all of this, right? For only this, right? You're trying to highlight all of that, right? I mean, that's the approach that you want your customer to understand. And that has to be a mindset thing. The word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what you believe inside of your heart ultimately is going to affect what it is that gets up here. Once it gets up here, it's what's going to make everything operate, right? Once it hits the computer, everything's going to operate. That's why we want to make sure you hit your chest one time, make sure that heart is beating, because from the place where your literal life spark is where everything else is going to find its way to grow. Why has it been so important over the years that you have somewhat obsessively made sure to bring value everywhere it is that you go? Of course, there's fruits that come with it, but what is it that has had you so laser focused on making sure to bring value anywhere and everywhere that you go?
So, living is giving. That's a philosophy that I absolutely live by. And when people talk about, you get out what you put in, it's 100% true. But this is going to sound very philosophical, but
hey,
that's the whole point.
When you give something with the expectation of getting something in return, that's an investment. When you give something, or when you give with no expectation, that's love. Every decision that we make in our life comes from one of two places, either fear or love. If you choose to, and you get to choose every single time, but if you choose to operate from a space of love, understanding that, I want to make this person's experience amazing, not just, a car buying experience, but maybe a car selling experience, not just being a husband, but being trying to create a life for your spouse that is just unimaginable. So the way that I approach it, I support my wife. You guys know her.
Mm-hmm.
She is, she's
nice.
literally the most amazing person that I
awesome.
Love you, Amber. She's a car gal. She's a true blue car gal.
She's a car gal that's doing.
We actually met in a car dealership.
Yes.
So of course we did. That's the only place I go, right? But anyways, yeah. So it's definitely a mindset. I heard you guys are always giving tidbits to sales professionals around the country regarding, how to help them to increase their sales or increase their, positivity level. one thing that a nugget that I will give that I like to share with any sales professional is take control of the sale immediately. Do not, you can't take control of a person. Your managers may tell you, get control of this guy. All right. You're not going to control a person, but you have to take control of the sale. Somebody has to be in control of the sale.
Yeah.
The way that you do that is by being the professional. Think about this. Think about the last time that you went to your doctor. And so you go in because you have whatever going on, and they come in and they're like, well, here's what's going on and here's what I'm going to give you. Not at one point do you ever say, are you sure you know what you're talking about?
Right.
Are you sure you know what you're doing? It's if you've ever had any type of a need for an attorney, whether it's civil or criminal or whatever, you present what's going on to that attorney. That attorney then tells you, this is what we're going to do and this is what it costs.
Yep.
Do you ever try to negotiate with that guy? You just do what he tells you is the best thing and the best course of action. The reason why is because we as consumers relinquish control to a professional.
Yes.
So this is why you need to look at yourself before you leave the house in a full-length mirror. Would you do business with this person? If the answer is no, you need to change. You need to change your clothes, do your hair, whatever it is that you need to do so that you can say yes to that. If if you know what I mean.
I do know, but I'm just thinking that in guys, this is a car guy confession session real quick.
Right.
Is that the full length mirrors, they're stand-up mirrors that I usually have are bent just a little like this. So I look a little taller. All right, go ahead.
The key, Lou, for that is remove all objects out of view in that mirror where you could gauge your height. That way, so if you know that there's a couch there, right? If there's a couch and the average couch probably stands about 3.5, 4 feet tall, don't have the couch in the background because at that point,
the couch is taller than you.
More cowbell, less couch.
It all, and then you can start thinking, man, I am a giant.
Yes.
So
thank you for that.
Or buy a smaller mirror. That way you take up the whole thing.
Right. There we go.
Yeah. So, but anyways, folks, I would tell you, learn to take control of the sale. Yes. It's actually extremely easy to do. It does require confidence. But this is what you guys do every day. This is what you train for. So, you should look forward to, the customers are a little bit tougher or the credit situations are a little bit tougher. This is what all of your training has led you to that moment, to be able to be a professional in that moment. So trust in your training. And if you're not, getting the level of training that you feel like that, you need to do your job from your leadership. One, I would express that to your leadership. Remember that there's a lot of big egos in this business. Yeah. So, you need to frame how you're going to ask for that help carefully. However, I believe that most people want to help. And what I know for a fact is that every leader in this business is going to benefit more financially from having or getting the most out of their team. So if you can't find the information that you need, network, get on groups like the Car Guy Cafe, watch things like the Car Guy Coffee podcast, reach out to people that are willing to help you. And there's a ton of people that are willing to do that. These two, I would trust to run any business, to teach anybody how to improve their sales skills. And remember that sales is not a talent. I know, we've talked about that. Sales is not a talent. Sales is a skill. That means that you can learn it. It can be taught.
It can be.
The drive and the motivation, that has to come from within you. But the skill itself can be taught. And these two do an amazing job with that. They do it every day. So if you're struggling, reach out to them.
Oh,
folks. Well, go ahead.
No, that's. I appreciate you saying that, Matt. And I know that he means that because he tells me stuff like that every day. He definitely encourages me. He's been nothing but a beacon of light when it comes to this podcast, when it comes to my career, my family. He's always been there. So, I words of advice. He's so right. reach out to us. But and honestly, I get people reaching out to me all the time, and I don't charge a penny, folks.
Right.
I just love help. Now, there's going to be a moment of time where I'm not going to be able to talk to everybody that reaches out to me, but right now, guys, while you have the chance, reach out to me, talk to me. I love helping. I could give you maybe one word of advice and it might help you. If you're looking to just get that slight edge, or maybe you just need somebody to pump you up a little bit and get you positivity mind going, that's what I do. That's what Lou and that's what Matt does. When I'm having a bad day at the office, guess what I do? I go to Matt and say, Dog, Matt will be like, well, I get it, but here, man, check this out. This is what's going on. And then next thing you know, I leave the office. I'm freaking pumped up, ready to go ahead and do the next package. Right. So, but Matt's definitely been that guy. Matt's so right on that. Like, look for that, find that mentor inside your life. If you need a local mentor, talk to your management. If you don't feel like you're getting what you need, talk to your team members, talk to the guys that are leading the floor. You'd be surprised how many of them will be happy to unload and let you know everything that they know. Yeah. It's out there because we love sharing. People who are successful don't want to be there by themselves.
That's right.
They don't. Now, if they do, it's going to be lonely, and that means they just became successful and they feel like it's a secret how they did it. There's no secret.
Well, they don't want to share. There's
none of this stuff's secret. It's all the stuff is all about just like we talked about. You get what you put in. You stay positive. You constantly grow. You look for things and reasons to be better. You find other people. You find mentorship. There's no secret to all this stuff, folks. The closes that we use been used for a long time.
That's right.
It's nothing brand new. It's just encouragement. It's using it. It's being consistent. So make sure you do those things. And guys, like I said, we've been talking about it a little bit, but I'm going to try to get Matt more involved into this cafe. I want to start putting like at least videos of Matt talking about some amazing stuff, so you guys can feel what we felt getting up in this business. I want people to feel like there's more than just a job. The difference between people, I think, that have done this and they do it well, or they change their mentality from this is a job to this is my new career. Right. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
So this is my profession.
This is what I am. This is exactly. This is my profession. So when you make that change in your brain, because we're all programmed with jobs. You think about it, when you first started working, if you were in high school and you started working, you had a job, 9 to 5. You worked these hours. You got paid for your hours of being there. You could have literally just stood around for those hours. You got paid for that. So there was really no self-worth. Once you do this job and this beautiful job that we do in the car business of helping other people, that's what you're doing. You're literally helping people, and you get paid for how well you help people. Mm-hmm. So think about that. If you're getting paid for how well and doing it consistently and doing it a lot, my goodness, that's gratifying. You're literally shaking hands with somebody at the end of the deal. They're smiling. They're so happy. I can't believe I got this vehicle, folks. Oh my God, you're just doing some amazing stuff, and I get paid to do this. Think about that. It doesn't seem like that when you think about it from like the outside layer of it. But when you start unpeeling this onion and you're getting to the bottom of it, you start to realize, man, I'm helping people. I'm helping myself. I'm growing. Yes, I'm making income, but I'm doing income.
That's the byproduct
based off of what I do for my people. With my people are being, if you're a manager, you're doing it for your salespeople. You're helping them to include your clients. And then if you're a salesperson, you're helping the people and their families get into that van that they needed because they have 3-4 kids. They're getting into that, 4-door sedan that they never believed they could buy, that convertible Mustang that they've been dreaming of their whole life. Mm-hmm. Think about those things. So quit worrying about selling cars, start helping people.
What do you think is the number one contributor to why somebody is not having success in a dealership that is successful? I like I said, it's not a talent level. It's not a talent thing. So, these are things that I think about actually, because I'm just, I guess, kind of a boring person, that I'm so fascinated with this business that it's just, it stays on my mind. But here's what I've come to realize is that if you're not finding success in a dealership that is successful, you probably need to ask yourself, am I really committed to what I'm doing? Have I made a commitment that this is it? Have I made a decision? So to me, making a decision means that you cut off all other options.
Burn your boats.
If you don't do that, think about this. Think about a professional athlete. Think about if LeBron James said, I like basketball. It's pretty cool.
Basketball is my favorite sport.
I'm going to go and dabble in that a little bit and, see if I can make a living. There's no way that he becomes, who he is.
No way.
When you go all in, and I'm an all-in kind of person, I can't, I'm not really a dabbler. So I'm one of these that, if I say that this is what I'm going to do, then that's everything at that time until I feel that I've accomplished mastery.
Fact.
If you're experiencing that as a salesperson, or if you're a manager in this business and you're looking at your team and you're, why can't I get, more out of this guy? A big topic has always been, why are they, especially with, this younger generation, why aren't these people motivated? Nothing motivates them. Well, the truth of the matter is that everyone is motivated about whatever they're committed to. So, have a talk with them about that. Have a talk with them about, the importance of being committed and, how that will contribute to your success rather than take away from being successful, from lack of commitment to it. If always in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I really don't like this aspect and I don't like this aspect of it. So, I'm thinking, maybe I should go try this other dealership, or maybe I should go try, a factory or join the military or whatever. All those things are honorable things to do. But if you're thinking along that way, then understand you cannot be successful in sales. You can't be successful in anything unless you're committed.
That's it.
And what you're trying to get from customers.
That would be my quick tip, my quick brew.
That's right.
There it is.
Whoa.
You know what's up. Let's brew.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
that is so awesome.
Whoa.
Guys,
Hey, I love it.
listen, what he just said, and he said a whole lot.
Dude.
So please go back, rewind. We're going to go ahead and put this into podcast form so you can get it into your
we're gonna have to
ears.
break some of these
It can
pieces.
penetrate the heart. But there's so many different things that you strung through. And I want to kind of hit all of that. I love that you finished with that. That was so great.
Me too.
Yeah. You said earlier, if the doctor walks in, the lawyer walks in, says this is what has to be done, you accept what they're saying, right? You just finished with saying that if you're going to be successful in this, you have to be committed to it, right? Because remember, you're not going to really get anybody anywhere you're not. And if you're trying to get a commitment from a customer, and your mind isn't committed, it's hard to extract that from them, right? But there's key things that happen inside of the transaction, inside of the commitment, inside of yourself every single day. Our very first question is the why. For most people, right? What's the why? Why am I getting up and doing this? Why am I doing my routine? Why am I on my way to go to work? Why am I committed to this job? Why am I committed to this career? Why am I committed to this profession? Why am I committed to this spouse? Why? You're always asking those questions. Those are key questions, because if the professional shows up in the room and never asks the question and gives a diagnosis, that's when you're like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? You didn't even ask me anything. You didn't ask me what I feel like. You didn't ask me what's happening in my throat or my nose. You just prescribed something to me,
right?
Which happens a lot.
Yes.
That part does happen a lot. And this is where you get questioning of, am I being treated like a person, like somebody cares? Then you hit something else that's so key. And that's the love, fear elements, those forces. Okay. The Bible says perfect love drives out all fear. Remember, fear or hate is not equal to love. It's not equal to it. It will bow to it. Okay. Just like light. Light does not fear darkness at all. The second that the light arrives, the darkness flees. That's just how it is. Okay. So perfect love, or having that type of a love for somebody that you want to lead in their career, and giving them that heart and that belief inside of them, that love that they need, will help them to conquer the fear that maybe they've never sold a car before. Right. Maybe this customer has given them every reason in the world why they're not going to take these numbers, right? What Matt has been able to master is that he still made you feel loved, even with your correction, even with, some of those jerky modes where they sharpened us up, right? Where you're like, dang, man, it's really, just like a parent that disciplines. This hurts me more than it hurts you, right? So he's been able to master the the art of love, of being able to love somebody to the point to where they then convert that into a love for the customer, which you need to have. Again, folks, we all know you're going to be you. I'm going to be me. He's going to be him. And it's not for you to be like him, although he's, dope jacket, fly shirt, right? Looking nice. He looks awesome. And he is a great person you want to emulate. And when we first came in the business, we wanted to be Matt, right? Dude. From the blonde tips and everything he had back then.
Rolex watches.
That's what we wanted, right? We wanted to rock the Hummer,
Air Max, always fly.
But eventually,
dry cleaning picked up every day. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You're like, I want to go dry cleaner now.
That's right.
Shoot,
so
it's like little things
that we admired loved us back, and inside of that, it helped us to conquer the fear that it took for him to get to where he was, and for us to overcome the things we knew we had to face to get to where we wanted to go. And again, just take that with you in your to-go cup.
Do that.
You have to utilize that love factor to drive out that fear
100.
Because it won't be able to stand in the same place, whether it's with your children, your spouse,
wherever
your employees, or your customers sitting in front of you. If you're leading anybody, make sure that you lead with that love, have a heart that's ready to help them out.
Boom.
And no matter what happens, no matter what they try to put on you, and no matter what they spew out, you got to forgive it.
Yeah.
Get focused on where it is that you want to go, what you want to achieve, fly above those things, and continue to apply the same principles every day. Matt, so thankful for you to be back.
I could tell you we appreciate it. I know that time's flying. We're over an hour in now. Matt's got to get to work. I know I've got to go to work too, but Matt's got to get there, open up the store. I know Lou's got to leave here. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to do this real quick. John Pellegrino threw something out because this is facts, guys. Check this out. Fred's story. I was at another car dealership test driving a car, and I brought it to Fred's dealership to get feedback. And Fred said, I have a better car for you. I was embarrassed to take it back. So Fred drove to the other dealership's car and dropped the car back to him and drove my car back to his dealership. Dang right I did. And John, I forgot about that story, bro. I'm so glad you brought that up. And that's so true. Folks, that's my commitment. And that's how serious I was about the business. That was years ago, guys. And he says on his next thing, he drove that car for 7 years because it was a better car. Because he was my friend, because I was committed, knowing that I was going to make sure that my friend got taken care of. He came here, asked for my opinion. And my opinion was, you need to buy from me because I'm going to treat you better than anyone else. I'm going to make sure that the car that you buy is the best deal that you could possibly get. Whether, I don't know, John, if it was the best deal, I might have knocked you across the head. I don't have a clue. What I do know,
probably,
because if you can't make money on your friends, that's Matt told. This is straight from Matt's lips. I remember this. If you can't make money on your friends, then who can you make money on? Right. So that being said, you don't rip people off. You're just making money. It's what it is. Right. But I could tell you, I gave him a great service. I know that John felt like I went above and beyond. He got the value way exceeded the cost of the vehicle. So he kept it for 7 years. And I honestly forgot all about it till I just read it a moment ago. I appreciate you throwing it out there. But yes, I was strong even back then, guys. So.
But he loved him,
and that all came from this guy.
He knew you loved him. He knew you trusted him.
I do, and I still love John. John's still a good friend of mine. And I'm, it's cool that we're still connected like this. And social media brought us all back together. That's for sure. And we got Brian Norris says 75% of the time, most successful businesses are led by servant leaders, 100%. And this is what this guy is right here for sure. Always has been committed. Will help you keep growing. Yes. So, folks, we're gonna get off here. We appreciate you. I hope you guys got a few nuggets. I know I got some. I'm actually excited about getting to work today, having some fun with Matt. Killing the tape,
changing lives,
getting the first day of the month going, getting the guys encouraged. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy your day. Matt, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I don't. It's been a pleasure. It's always great to get together with you guys, and I appreciate you guys having me on. So
we appreciate it, man. Brother. We love you, man, and we're glad to have you here today, and we look forward to doing more.
Car guys, car gals, no matter what gets in your way this week, you make sure that you understand that there is nothing that can stop you. We're over here with the unstoppable force for good, and he has poured a little bit in your cup. So go ahead, sip that up. Brew Solutions. If you need a refill, go to carguycoffee.com.
It's really good.
Shop. Get you some of that. It'll energize you. It'll get you feeling like the car guy that is doing solutions out here in the world that needs you. We love you all. I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
I'm Frello Narts, the subprime hero.
And we are here with the unstoppable force for good, Mr. Matt DAMOS. Car guys, car gals, remember, nothing can stop you. Get yourself. That's the end of my cup.
See y'all later.
Focus.
Live. Keep growing.
Car gals, it's time to go attack your day. Do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Do it.
We believe in you.
Do it.
Go make it happen.
Do it.
Go get you some.
Get it.
Get you some more.
Brew.
Happy October 2020,
Woo!
everybody.
First of the month. Wake
Welcome.
up. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up. And you know what you need to wake up, wake up, wake up? Car guys.
Y'all have a good one. Make sure you go to our coffee shop. Get you some of that. Pre-order it. Let's go. Y'all have a... Whoa. All right. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all later. Have a good morning.
Out.
Peace.